Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video, I'll be doing my cash cows for round 14. This one, at least we're doing it on a day on Thursdays now and not Wednesdays, because we do get a little bit more team news, I guess. Now, we've had a couple of team newses, and so it makes it a little bit easier to, or at least a couple of a debut, which we'll go through. And how that does make it a little bit easier to do these, especially because even though some teams are on the bye, you can sort of pick out the one or two guys that we need to go through and look at for sort of best cash cows. But anyway, before we jump into this video, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and let's get into this video. So, as you see here, the cash cows are pretty bleak. This always happens, and we get to the point now with cash cows where we're sort of like, we want the occasional one or two, but we don't want too many. We just want players that can play, I guess, especially for struggling teams. But a lot of the teams, they'll have their one or two main guys. Like I know for the Swans, I don't want to see Will Green or Caden Cleary anytime soon this year, just because I want them basement price for next year. So that is sort of what I'm talking about. You will have the occasional one or two, but you almost don't want too many guys to debut at this point, just because their price will be above basement, and we want those basement guys for next year. So Billy Dowling is the number one guy. There was some threat of him training in the Bs or whatever for Adelaide in their team training yesterday, I believe. But I think that might have been just a headline grabber, to be honest. We saw some other fans, Adelaide fans, and this is where I get you guys to help me out, especially I know that St Kilda fans helped me out with the reasoning behind Ari Schoenmaker debuting, which we'll get to. But Adelaide fans helped me out with this. I believe there was one point where they had a couple of defenders that we know are first grade worthy. They were in different jumpers, and it was like that, and they were using Billy Dowling in the white jersey or something like that to signify that he was in the B side, but they had two of their A grade defenders, one of them in the A side and one of them in the B side. So I think that was the reason why people were starting to question whether Billy Dowling was actually going to be the sub or not, as some people had mentioned. So I don't think he should be, because I think he should get the test on. This is a good time for him to be tested on arguably the best winger in the comp in Errol Gordon, if you are going to play him as a winger. But if you're going to play him on ball, this is also a good time, because you're playing against the most damaging midfield in the comp at the moment in the Sydney Swans, who especially around the ball contest rather than CBAs. If you wanted to get, and that's where I see Billy Dowling sort of getting more involved in rather than CBAs, this is the time to get him involved in. So yeah, I would be doing that and not be playing him as sub, because there isn't really much point playing him as sub. Nathan Kruger, he had a really good game. My only worry with him is obviously 295k, so he's a little bit more pricey, and also the fact that he has the bye coming up still. I know that I've already got Billy Dowling, so yeah, it doesn't matter as much. This is why I sort of want Georgie Payne to debut. We kind of want that, and we're sort of waiting on it, and I don't know whether it's going to happen or not. I would like to see it. There's also I think it's Luke Beacon that potentially debuts, but Connor McKenna wasn't on the injury report. So this is sort of what you have to go off, is the injury report and sort of what the fans are saying. So that's another one that got flagged by some fans. I don't know whether it was Brisbane fans initially, but I did go through and scour through the Brisbane Big Footy board, and they didn't really suggest that Luke Beacon, I think it is. Let me just check that for you. I think it's Luke Beacon. Yeah, Luke Beacon. I don't think he was necessarily lined up for a debut, just because McKenna got through the injury report. Biggie doesn't look like he'll play anytime soon. Logan Morris, I really like this guy, but he's 321k, so I just think he's way too expensive, and I think he has that sort of role that you can get 50s out of, but nothing more than that. So I don't think he's one that you should really be looking at. His last week was a 60. You see here, when he's not really sub, because he was sub, I believe, in that game. I think he might have been sub in this game, I'm not 100% sure. But in games there, yeah, it looks like he wasn't sub in these games, and he's sort of averaging out 55. And that's just because he's a really good sort of medium forward, I believe. I think he's 191 centimetres. I think he's a good medium forward. But that sort of Zane Dersma, they will have a pop-out game where they just go off in terms of marks. You can see here a 6 marker, a 5 marker. They kick a couple goals, they get a couple tackles, etc. They get up towards that sort of 15 possession mark. That's where they get those 90 games, but they can also have their 0 or 1 goal efforts where they sort of only get to like 50 or 40. We've seen that with Zane Dersma. We see it with even just the experienced guys like a Will Hayward. Let's actually just show you what I mean by that. Will Hayward probably isn't as extreme, but you'll see here he's had a 46 game where he kicked 2 goals. He had a 54 game where he didn't kick a goal and had a lot of non-disposal points. That 46, he didn't have many. Taken out those 2 goals, and that's a 34. And yeah, so they rely heavily on non-disposal points to get what they want. So yeah, that's what I'm just referring to there. Menzies on the bye. Will Hamill is sort of just not really going to move you forward too much. Harvey Harrison, this is definitely way past the time for him. Bodie Yuland on the bye, and 543k, I think it's just his, he's just done in terms of potential to grab him. I thought he had a really good game, and this was against St Kilda, so they do give up a lot of points to defenders. We know that. Should have actually VC'd Flanders knowing that, and there will be a potential VC especially in Supercoach, just on the basis of St Kilda giving up huge points. And that's something I should really be taking a look at in the future, is just matchups worthy. But you can see when he plays lockdown, he does score pretty poorly. So, and you can see here playing lockdown, got dropped, and then has come back more of a distributing player. And yeah, but yeah, I really like his brother is in the underages for the Allies currently, and he is tearing it up on a wing. So if he molds into, if his brother's anything like him, that'll be a 1-2 punch for Gold Coast in the coming years. Patrick Voss, don't think he plays, to be honest. Eric Hipwood, this is just a mammoth score that will be followed by like a 40 or something, knowing him. Yeah, I wouldn't, odds on that it's a 50 score that he scores this week against St Kilda. Vizentini doesn't even play. Charlie Dean is coming on to his bye, but he's also got a 10 break even anyway, and he hasn't really shown, a 73 and a 55. It's all right, but it's nothing special. Toby McMullen, yeah, another sub game, I believe. I'm led to believe these are both sub games for a 65 and a 34, so I wouldn't be touching him, to be honest. It sucks because he's going to be that type of guy that next year he's probably not going to be sub next year, but he's already got that inflated price tag, even from his games that he's played as not as sub. In these. So a 49, you're not going to pick him next year probably, unless he somehow is miraculously on ball, because that would be priced at around 450k next year. So you kind of need a 10 or a 15 from him just to lower that average. McIntosh on the wing, but his wing results have been sort of up and down, so there's been no role change into the reason. He just got a couple of goals early in that 73 that he scored. Day on the bye. McNeil looks likely to get dropped, I've been hearing, for Waitman. That sounds like the one that they're going to go for. Some people have mentioned Fraser, but Fraser's playing off the half-back flank, and I believe from what I saw, and I just want to check the injury list here, I believe from what I saw that, or heard from the Western Bulldogs fans, that potentially JJ was, JJ 4 to 6 weeks still. So they said round 18 was potentially where he'd come back. You've got Bailey Smith a test, Ed Richards a test, and then Jordan Croft TBC, Luke Cleary TBC. I believe, was Luke Cleary playing their last game? So yeah, we will see who comes in. Keith will be sidelined. So yeah, we could see Fraser play tall, because he is 191, so that technically could play key position. And you do have the fact that Keith did his hamstring, but it looks potentially like Caulfield could come in as well. So yeah, we'll wait and see on that. Where's Caulfield? Not listed. Shoulder, 2 to 3 weeks. Sorry. So he's still 2 to 3 weeks away, which should mean that he will replace Keith potentially right around the time that Jason Johannesson comes back, just a couple of weeks before Jason Johannesson comes back. So yeah, I don't see Fraser getting dropped, and I feel like it's going to be the likes of a McNeil that gets dropped. Laurie, Ethan Phillips is injured currently at the moment. I'm not 100% sure on that. Let me just double check that. I didn't go through these injury lists, which is probably a bad thing. I probably should have done it for your guys' sake. Ethan Phillips, a knee. What did he do? Doesn't say here, so that was probably last week. But yeah, he won't be playing. Revel, he's a really... What's going on with their injury list? They're a couple of weeks away from... I think Ashcroft is a couple of weeks away. And obviously I wouldn't be picking Ashcroft in the in this year anyway. I'd be looking at him potentially next year if he gets a full preseason under his belt. Especially if he has a massive. I mean, it's looking like he'll have a 12% discount. So 12-15% discount on Ashcroft. So Revel and Shaden Braun, I wouldn't be touching just because I feel like they're on the outer, and if they get Ashcroft back, they get another couple back. I believe they've got not many on the injury list though. So I think it's just all season guys. Yeah. You got Will Ashcroft 3 to 5 weeks, Carter Michael a test. So we'll be depending on when Carter Michael comes back into the VFL, if that pushes someone up or whatnot. We'll see. But yeah, I don't think these two are ones to go for. Cal Shadir is sort of always a sub-risk, so I wouldn't go for him. Toby Pink, I don't think he's scoring much, and he's sort of in that key position player, so I don't like his role. Ballas, the same thing. Fantasia, no Mira, no thank you. And then we sort of get down to, where is he? I already have him selected as one of the players, so he will turn up. Let me just search him up. Ari Showmaker. The thing I like about Ari, and this was something that was pointed out to me by the St Kilda fans, is that Howard is out. Dougal Howard is out currently with, I believe, a hamstring. I believe it was a hammy. Where is it? Dougal Howard hamstring 4 weeks. You do have Liam Stocker back in a week, which is a little bit of a worry, but I wouldn't be surprised if they do go with Liam Stocker back after the bye. I think they could go with Riley Bonner out and go Liam Stocker, and then just have Ari Shellmaker as a sort of key defender or a third tall for the sort of 3 or 4 weeks before, or 2 weeks or so before Dougal Howard is out. I mean, it doesn't really impact me, as I just need sort of a defender sitting on the bench. I don't need an actual playing defender. I just sort of need that bench one. But, I really like the likes of Ari Schoenmaker. I would like to see another debut, because then I wouldn't have to go for an Ari Schoenmaker at that point. At this point in time, and I could get him after the bye if he is still playing, which could be good. But yeah, that pretty much is the video there, just going through all of the rookies. There isn't many cash cows potentially this week. It is sort of a wait and see. We haven't seen any of the mid-season draft players really play. We had Blight, Payne. Let's actually just look at the 200k players. We've just had a lot of players not really play, and I reckon that do we have any pictures for them, or are they still blacked out? They've just had a lot of guys not really. Let me just say if Payne is Payne. I know that I don't think he has a photo yet. You got Georgie Payne not having a photo, and some other guys not having a photo that are the mid-season draft guys. So I'm just trying to scroll through here and find them. And I just cannot seem to find them. You got Luke Becken, Blight, Saeed Al-Harley, just 6 to 8 weeks in the VFL with an ankle syndesmosis, I believe, or something like that. So he's not going to play for the rest of the season. Scaife, a key forward, I believe, isn't going to play. Kelsey Ripe-Strata, I believe it is, or I probably butchered that. Well, he might get a game sometime soon. Logan Evans, Max Hall, Toby Murray could get a game. Could potentially get a game if they're going to bleed youth Adelaide, but I don't think he will. Darcy Craven, Luke Kentfield, Tom Hanley, I don't think gets a game, and then Georgie Payne, Ilroy Smith, Will McLaughlin, Cooper Lord. So there's plenty of guys there on the mid-season draft that could get a game. I probably butchered half of their names, but then again, some of these guys, especially, there's quite a few key forwards and a couple of key defenders and a couple of ruckmen as well that I don't think will get a game. But there's a couple of these sort of smaller guys. I mean, Saad would probably have gotten a game. I think it's Saad. Saad would probably have gotten a game if he hadn't been injured, honestly, with the way he was playing in the VFL. He was kicking goals and getting possessions for fun. So anyway, that pretty much is the video there, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.